from Hudson Valley Bookkeeping. In this video, I'm going to show you how to split a payment where part of it is the first month's rent and part of it is their security deposit. All right, okay, let's get started. Hi, everybody. Okay, so let's say someone's going to pay you $1,500 security deposit and $1,500 first month rent. The first question I would have is, are you invoicing? Are you posting your entries straight into the bank register? So if you're not sure what I mean by that, we have what's called invoices, which is the harder way of doing QuickBooks. So if you don't have a lot of tenants, I would first recommend just posting deposits and tracking. Like, so if you have under 5 or less, sometimes it's not worth all of this effort. Okay, so here is an invoice that I have. It requires that you have a product or service, and then you would have to post the payment. That's the hard way. Then there's the easy way. And you would probably have these also connected to your bank, so then it's even easier. But let's say someone gave you the $3,000. Actually, we'll have to go up here to new bank deposit because we're going to do what they call a split. So let's say you have $3,000. You would do what I did. I went to the top left, clicked new, clicked bank deposit. From here, you could just pick the unit for the rent, and you could just write first month's rent. You don't even need to put the tenant name. You could. It doesn't help you that much because it doesn't show up in their transactions because it's not. This is the down and dirty easy way. So we say 1,500, right? Then we go to security deposit. I've already made these, guys. I have a lot of videos on making these codes. Security. I think I didn't pick the unit though. Unit 1. And I named it new tenant. This is the easiest way if you have very few tenants. If you have 30 tenants or something and you're trying to track it in QuickBooks and keep track of all your receivables, then you would do it the first way, which I will make an invoice for in a minute. But so here is the easy way. And we're posting this for 9/1. So then I really want you guys to go into your chart of accounts all the time. So we did unit 1 for security deposit. And see $1,500. So that person, this is your liability. And then if you went to your bank, you'll see a $3,000 deposit. You got $3,000 increase. And then we have rent for the first month. So I think I just did another video where I posted money to that unit, but let's just look at what happens. So every entry you make in your register then shows up in your reports. So I did another entry to this unit, but that's okay. So here's our 1,500. Okay. Let's say you're going to do it the hard way and you're going to invoice. Before you do anything, you would need an income code and a security deposit code. So I have these created already, but you would just create these. Let's say we have a unit 4. So first you have to create the codes. Before you can create an item. This is a liability because your security deposits are not income. Okay. Once you create the chart of account code, then you create the item code. Going up to the gear, products. I want to name them the same exact way. So I know I have these. No. So you're gonna say new service, security deposit. Maybe I didn't. Wordy Railroad Unit 4. I'm gonna go here. It's not income. Picking our liability. So we've made a liability product / service that'll go inside the invoice and it's linked to our liability. And now we have to do the same thing for the income code. Let's go back to chart of accounts. So we have the main income is 40 Railroad and a sub unit 4. Okay. And I bet I have that product already created. Maybe unit 4. Okay, so I already had my rent income. So let's go make a new invoice. So I'm going to make a new tenant for unit 4. I'm going to future date her invoice. Just because I have so many in this September. Okay, so then I'm going to say unit. Let's see how it comes up. Unit 4, 2000. I can say I only have one item, the one I just made, security deposit. Let's say it's 1.5 months rent, so it's 3,000. This is good to put this in the memo with her name. We'll see if it shows up. Okay, so now she owes $5,000 in order to pay her first month's rent and her security deposit. It's going to be 5,000. Save and close. So this is a lot more steps, right? Than just the posting straight to the bank account with the deposit. So it just really has to do with how many tenants you have if you should make it this complicated. So now we're going to receive the payment on October 1st. Because this is not a split payment, it was going to payments deposit here because I showed how to post cash. Let's say all of this is going to the bank. So I've applied the payment. I'm going to have another tip. I don't care how many, especially if you don't have a lot of tenants, have the teller always deposit every check individually. It makes it so much easier later, especially if you're using the bank feeds to reconcile and post. Because if you're batching 4 or 5 checks, then you can't really use the bank feed to post or match. Okay, so remember too that when you have the split payment, that certain piece, that's not income, it's a liability. So you're not going to have income. Your income is only 2,000. Now I'll show you in 2 places. I really want you to get used to going on your chart of accounts and looking at the registers. Security deposit, unit 4. Oh, look, that should also be subbed underneath here. So let me fix that. Because this is like, looks better. Okay, so now they're all here. So now I know for this one building, I've got 8,500 out in security deposits, but here's my unit 4. And it's this deposit right here. First of all, it's going to show the invoice because we're doing it the hard way. Okay, I'm going to go back and show you again how to do it the easy way, just so you can see again the difference. Go up to new, bank deposit. Picking the income account. Going to security deposits. Could even put a memo in here. Okay, 4,500. What you should also be doing all the time is looking at your balance sheets where everybody makes mistakes. Run the balance sheet. Did it for the future date. Here it is, 1,500 unit 2. I click into it. Tom Smith. I check my profit and loss. And it was a single entry. So it's very different than creating an invoice, making sure you always need all the chart of accounts. I always want you to have all your income accounts and security deposits separated. I don't believe in separating the other things. Here I did it by 2 different addresses only because this shows if you had a small, like a tune unit LLC and you didn't want to pay for the higher version of with classes. But this, we always have every unit, okay? And your security deposits, I want you to have every unit. Don't lump them. You spend so many hours trying to figure it out later. Like 15 years later, you don't remember. I've seen this where, especially in commercial real estate, I mean, the tenants are there for 30 years and then trying to prove how much they paid, and it's bungled in with a million other people's security deposits that have come and gone. Okay, so here's your 3,000 right here. So that's the easy way. Just split the deposit. The hard way is the invoicing. So it really depends on how many tenants you have and if you need to be doing that. I recommend when you start out, especially if you have under 5 tenants, that it's a lot easier to just track if they paid or not by running. Let me just show you one last thing. I'll get off my soapbox. This is how one of my clients does it. Okay, so what you would have is normally this would be filled in for each month. And if you're missing a month and you would have like, these are filled, then you're missing, half of these are filled, but you have one box open, then you have an issue. And it's a demo file, so it doesn't show it all, but the accounts receivable, if you're going to do it, make sure you make separate deposits for every check. It'll help you when you're posting the bank deposits through the bank feed, especially if you're invoicing. But I would always deposit each rent separately. I was speaking to someone recently about cash deposits that they do deposit at the bank. What you should do is fill out the deposit slip. Write on it, especially if you're like Chase or whatever, you'll be able to see your deposit slip later, as an image at the bank. This is really good practice no matter what. Split the cash deposits out by the unit and then fill out the deposit slip. Like this is just 3x5 card, but put on the deposit slip, with the date, and then put a memo on there that that's for tenant A, at 101 Main Street. So that when later, if you're trying to figure it out 2 weeks later, you don't have to remember, right? You can look on the check image or the deposit slip image. So that's one good way to do it. But always if you get 5 tenants with $1,000, don't post. I mean, that's going to be pretty easy to tell, but especially if you differentiate each deposit separately, it's so much easier to post your QuickBooks. One of my clients does that, and he's not even in real estate, but it just makes it, he likes to post his payments and track his receivables. And it's so much easier for QuickBooks to figure out which payment that invoice is going to if they are delineated. So don't lump your stuff together. Fill out 5 slips. It'll save you hours later, especially if it's cash. All right, have a good day. If you're interested in QuickBooks training or you don't want to do your bookkeeping anymore, send us an email at hello@hvbookkeeping.com. There's also in the links of the YouTube videos a way that you can schedule a free 15-minute chat with me. Okay, have a great day.